You play ball like a girl!
For me personally, I know the importance of internships, and obviously you do too, but just going off of what we talked about, like, I guess, not necessarily like what's the secret to getting internships and jobs, but like, what do you think, I guess, is the importance, or just knowing like what are the right internships and jobs to get into? Because it sounds like to me you're someone who just asks and like goes for it.
Yeah.
So, but how did you know like those would be the right internships for you, and what would be your best advice to students who are in college who are looking to get an internship or some sort of summer job?
Yeah. Well, so I think the internship side of things, like we had the director for the Padres come in and speak at a class. And afterwards, he like casually mentioned like, oh yeah, and both Dick Enberg and I are going to be looking for internships or interns for the summer. And I was like, straight to the front. I was like, okay, I want to know what it's, what I need to do to intern for Dick Enberg. And I mean, I sent him email after email, and then I interviewed at Dick's home, and it got the job. And I remember getting the call and like being downstairs on Christmas break and my mom being upstairs, and Dick's name comes up on my phone, and I'm like, Mom, it's Dick Enberg! And she like runs downstairs, and I answer the phone, and I'm like, oh yes, thank you so much, Mr. Enberg. It'll be such an honor to, with a little whatever, stuttering all over myself, and then hang up the phone and just crying. I was so excited. So I think that, and I mean, I'm sure you have too, but like, I've spoken at a couple different college like events, their journalism schools or whatever, and we have interns at Coin. Like, we have a say even in who our interns are. And so I think if you're in college and you have someone come speak to you, there's not really an excuse for not creating a connection with that person. Like, they're there because they're one of the ones who wants to invest in the next generation, like the ones who don't want to invest don't go speak at colleges. Like, it's very simple. And so if you have someone coming to speak at your class and they work for somebody that you think it would be cool to intern for, ask them. Ask them what it's like to be an intern. Ask them what it would be like, what it's like to apply for it. How does that work? How often do they do it if they don't take internships? Can you be a job shadow? Like, everything that I did came from the previous thing. So there was nothing in college that was standalone except for the speaker coming in the first time. But after the internship with Dick, I got the internship with NBC because I'd made friends with the NBC San Diego people while I was at the Padres. I got a job with NBC San Diego because I'd done a good job with the internship. And so everything is interconnected. And especially because this is a small business. And so even in San Diego, the same people working the Padres games are the ones working the SDSU games, are working the Chargers games. And so they all know who the decision makers are, and you just have to ask, work your butt off to be one of the ones that they want to push ahead. And so I think that was probably the biggest key to getting an internship, is just, connecting face to face, because you don't want to, the last thing you want to be is one of 100, pages that they see come across their desk.
Totally.
So.
I love that you brought that up. It's so funny because one of my internships in college that I had for like 2 summers was because someone came in to speak in one of my, a sports marketing class. So literally it was, my professor and this guy had wrestled together in college with Uriah Faber, who they all went to UC Davis together and they all wrestled together. And I ended up interning for Uriah Faber's mixed martial arts team for 2 summers. And it's so true. Like, I didn't know what would come of that internship, but like, as they were talking about it, I'm like, it's in sports, it's like marketing and social media and PR communications, exactly what I want to do. And yeah, you just gotta like, I think, bite the bullet, because I think people, like especially young girls, will kind of be afraid because like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if that's what I want to do. But that's why you just have to go up there and ask and figure it out. Like, you'll never know if you don't try. And the worst that they can say is no, but most likely they won't.
So, and an internship is never going to harm you. Like, it's better to find out in an internship that you don't like the industry than it is to find out in a job. Like, way worse. So find out early in an internship, like, oh, PR is not for me. Oh, marketing's not for me. Oh, on air isn't for me. Like, these are things that you should learn as an intern because then you can apply for the jobs that matter and start working your way towards where you want to go, as opposed to having to take all these detours because you didn't know what you wanted.